The mood at Liverpool Football Club has drastically improved in recent weeks. When they missed out on Jude Bellingham, my dear friend Ade Oladipo here was heartbroken, but fairly recently, there has been a change and a change for the better. Ade, signing of Szoboszlai, you feeling good now?
Feeling reinvigorated.
Are you really?
Reinvigorated. Excited now for the start of the season. Like, very excited. Szoboszlai's come in, McAllister's come in. There's talks of maybe one more, whether it be Lavia from Southampton or Thuram or a Kone, either or. One of those three is young, energetic, strong, dynamic, and can grow with the team. And all of a sudden, Liverpool's midfield, which was, I think, the oldest average age midfield in terms of starters, so Fabinho, Henderson, Milner, etc., has now gone down. So we've got legs. It was always Klopp's engine room. New engines now been put in. Let's see what we can do.
The 60 million spent on Szoboszlai, and you combine that with already signing McAllister, you've managed to sign two midfielders for 20 million less than what Jude Bellingham would have cost.
Yeah.
Ultimately, were FSG correct?
Yeah, look, I've always said, and I think I said this from the start, look, clearly I'm not going to go back on my words. I was upset we didn't get Jude Bellingham. You know, it's a bit like Arsenal getting Declan Rice. It's a statement signing. So I always want that statement signing. Who doesn't want one of the best young players in the world? But I've always said Liverpool needed 3 or 4 in that midfield, not one. And as good as Jude is, and me and you've been around long enough to know great midfielders, he wasn't Seedorf and Pirlo and Zidane rolled in one, was he? He's a good midfielder, but he's young. We need more than that. And I think with that money, and you say 20 million less, I think that 20 million will be put on another one. So I think we're getting 3 midfielders, all hopefully different types, goal-scoring midfielders as well, which we haven't had since Gerrard. Really, since Gerrard.
If Thiago Alcantara is to leave, you know, there's talk of him potentially going over to Saudi Arabia. If he leaves and Lavia comes in, that's a brand new midfield. I think your first choice midfield, which is impressive in a way, but it's also slightly risky, I think. Yeah. No continuity. Like, of course, you'll have, say, Jordan Henderson at the club. Yeah. You'll have Fabinho at the club, and you can play them wherever. But I would say that if you were to sign Lavia as well, suddenly your best midfield becomes the 3 new starters.
Maybe, but one thing I've seen over Klopp since he arrived at the club and the signings, no one seems to go in straight away. Everyone seems to bed in. Like, no one, apart from Van Dijk and Alisson, who are the big ones that you've got to go in straight away, and they did, and they made an impact. Everyone seems to come off the bench. Everyone seems to get a go. Some players, you feel like, okay, is he not trusting them? Then all of a sudden they burst onto the scene. So I don't think he will start with a brand new 3. I still think Jordan Henderson will probably open the season. I think Fabinho will open the season as well. And then I think it will be one of McAllister or Szoboszlai that comes in. But look, we've got options now. We've got options and different style of players as well. So we can go for that kind of strong, big, defensive type unit with Henderson and Fabinho. We can go for a bit more flair when you look at Curtis Jones and Harvey Elliott and Szoboszlai coming in as well. So all of a sudden, we have options.
It's young, isn't it? It's like a young, unpredictable, versatile midfield. This is a dream, right?
It's a dream. It's a dream. I think Liverpool fans are happy. I mean, look, if we're honest, and you know, I don't know how many are, we didn't know too much about Szoboszlai. But once you start digging a bit deeper, once you start realising this guy's the captain of Hungary at only 22 years of age, brilliant against England, goal-scoring midfielder. You know, RB Leipzig are not happy to lose him. A lot of other teams wanted him or were looking at him at least. And then you pair them up with McAllister, who knows the Premier League. So as much as Szoboszlai might be a risk, McAllister knows it. A bit like Trossard coming into Arsenal. I expect McAllister to get off running straight away. No, like, I've got to settle in and know the language. No, you're good to go. And then we'll see what Szoboszlai does. And then you add it to what we've got up front. Players that I think will have a better start. Gakpo will start well. Salah will be Salah. Salah will get you 30 goals. He's shown that over the years. And I think Luis Diaz now, remember he came back from a horrific injury, out for months. He's now hopefully will have a good pre-season. He'll be firing as well. My only concern, and I've been speaking like, you know, positive, is the defence. I'm still a bit concerned about Van Dijk, just because, if we're brutally honest, we haven't seen the best of him since that injury. And I'm concerned about the change of partners next to him. Gomez 1 week, Matip 1 week, Konate 1 week. So I'm still a bit concerned. So there has been some talk about Liverpool getting a left-sided or left-footed centre-back. So Van Dijk can go to the right. We'll see what happens there.
Does the focus now need to become for Liverpool on Jurgen Klopp extracting more out of the front 3? You know how much he got out of Firmino. You know how much he got out of Sadio Mane. He obviously hasn't managed to do that to, say, Darwin Núñez. Of course, he hasn't had them for as long.
Yeah.
But as of yet, he hasn't been able to get as much out of, say, Núñez or Diaz. I know there's been certain other reasons there, been out injured and whatever else. But do you think the focus now for Liverpool needs to be, how do we get the most out of this front line? And if the front line fires, the midfield is rejuvenated, spent a lot of money, 250 million quid in 3 windows or whatever it is. It's a lot. I think if you were to get Thiago Alcantara out, you would then free up funds to potentially buy Lavia. That's more money spent. Of course, losing Alcantara, you might get a fee for him as well, but getting him off the wages, I think he's on about 10 million quid a year.
Wow.
So you get him out, Lavia for 50 million. They don't want to pay that, but 50. Yeah. Suddenly, I'm thinking, are Liverpool fit for a title race?
I think we are. No, let's start with what you said at the first, the front three. Does Klopp need to find or get them firing? Firstly, I think he needs to find his best front three. I think there's still questions. When it was the front three, you knew if they're all fit, they're playing. Salah, Mane, Firmino through the middle. Right now, there still is that question about, is it going to be Gakpo or Núñez? Salah is definitely starting from the right. Diaz will definitely start from the left. Who's going to start in that number 9 role? Is it going to be the most expensive one, Darwin Núñez, or does he like Gakpo? I think he likes Gakpo's industry. Gakpo will do what Firmino did, which is drop in that midfield and help. Where I don't think we see that from Darwin.
Who's your favourite?
Gakpo.
Gakpo through the middle.
Love him.
And
Gakpo
Núñez on the left.
No, Luis Diaz.
Núñez not in the team.
No.
Stop it.
Yeah. But that's amazing coming off the bench.
No, he's a very good player, and obviously there's a lot of football to go around.
There's a bit of a Alvarez situation there at Man City where you're going to get your minutes. You're going to, but I think you start. Gakpo scored a goal against Manchester United. I don't know if you remember. I think Salah absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and set it through to Gakpo, and he chipped it over the hair coming through. And I was like, I didn't know you had that in your locker. For me, he's a special talent. I prefer him. Again, I like the way he drops into midfield. That's exactly what Firmino did. And I think sort of Klopp alluded to the fact that Darwin Núñez's English is a bit of a problem because he isn't understanding what people are trying to tell him to do. So that'll be my front three.
Do you know what? Listen to this team. This is going to blow you off. I've just been, while you were doing that, I was just like making my team.
Yeah.
And I'm going to follow your lead on this, by the way.
Go on.
Because I take your word for it. You're a Liverpool fan. I totally concede that you will know more about their side. But listen to this starting 11. Alisson in goal. You go Konate, Van Dijk and Robertson as a sort of narrow 3. Trent Alexander-Arnold as a midfielder.
Yeah.
With Fabinho.
Type role.
Yeah, with Fabinho.
Yeah.
Szoboszlai and McAllister in front. So it kind of goes 3-2-2-3. So Alisson in goal. Konate, Van Dijk, Robertson, narrow. Alexander-Arnold in front. Fabinho next to him. Szoboszlai and McAllister in front with Salah, Gakpo, Diaz.
Frightening.
That wins. I'm not saying it does win the league, but it's capable of winning the league.
It really is. I'm smiling because I think that team there has legs, has experience, has winners. Winners, by the way. You don't get bigger than a World Cup winner. Winners in it. Has a bit of everything. And the most important part of it, which you miss, is the manager, Klopp. So this is almost like he's now go again. He's 2.0. How good a manager is he? The best managers always find a way to rebuild. So Alex is the best there's ever been, and he finds a way to rebuild, or best in Premier League era anyway. So, yeah, that excites me. Because then, again, you off the bench, then you got your Darwin Núñez's, you got your Jotas, Henderson's in and around the squad as well. That experience, young Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott. And although Trent isn't the best defender, I think we all know that, if he plays in that role, he has defensive capabilities.
Yes.
So he's not the greatest right back, but he should think like a defender. So hopefully McAllister and Szoboszlai don't get overrun. But if they do, well, we've got Fabinho and Trent back there to kind of hopefully clean up a
because
little
also Szoboszlai, part of what makes him so good is his versatility. He can play, in various positions, all forward thinking. You don't really want to put shackles on him.
No.
You want to allow him that freedom. You want to allow him to express himself in a forward thinking manner. And then let McAllister and Fabinho and, to a degree, Trent Alexander-Arnold do the rest. The story that I told there, the team that I put forward, said could win the league. Yeah. That was very much best case scenario. Yeah. That was very much Szoboszlai hits the ground running. Yeah. McAllister translates the form that he displayed at Brighton and for Argentina during the World Cup to Liverpool. Yeah. Trent Alexander-Arnold can play as a midfielder. This is all best case scenario. Yeah. Van Dijk finds his rhythm. Konate elevates his performance. This is all best case scenario.
Yeah.
Let's break it down one by one. Can Trent Alexander-Arnold play as that midfielder?
Yes and no.
Can't do that.
No, the reason I say yes and no is because, and I'm going to do what you do to me. Well, he played it against Malta and he played it against whoever for England, and Liverpool's last 8 games in the Premier League were against nobodies. That's kind of what you've done to me. So, and I have to agree. We didn't play the best in that last little 8 or 7 games where we were unbeaten. So have we seen it against the very, very, very top teams? No, not yet. So it's still out. The jury's still out on whether or not he can play that game against Arsenal. Well, he did get a bit against Arsenal, but against Man City, against United, potentially against Chelsea, if they can sort of be at their best again. So we have to wait and see. But another addition I think we're forgetting as well is with Szoboszlai and McAllister, in terms of creating chances for Liverpool, it's all been about Trent. It's literally been about give the ball to Trent. If he doesn't do it, then no one's going to do it. All of a sudden, I look at that team and I'm like, okay, Trent's there, Szoboszlai's there, Luis Diaz is there now. So finally, a bit like Man City, and we've got to compare it because that's the benchmark. We've got a few people that can do a few different things, few different match winners. I look at that team and I see goals. Defensively, we've got to get it right, but I see goals. Again, I see legs, which we lacked. Arsenal ran us ragged. I remember a game where Arsenal ran us ragged and we couldn't keep up with them. I think it was at the Emirates. I see a lot now. I see a lot. I see a lot of hunger. I saw a picture of Jordan Henderson, who looked in shape, I think, away at a training camp. And he was like, he said, you can't think you're going to win. You've always got to prepare for it. Or something. I'm paraphrasing.
You've got to believe that you're going to win.
You've got to believe it. So he's got the right mindset. And he knows as well, all these midfielders coming in, his place is up for grabs. All of a sudden, you're the captain, but you're not going to start. He will fight tooth and nail.
Which should elevate everyone else's performances. Everyone else will have to rise with the tide.
Everyone else will have to rise.
The midfield puzzle has been a problem for Klopp. Do you think the 2 new young players that have arrived, is the puzzle solved?
No, not yet. I don't think the puzzle will ever be solved until we know your best 3. It's a bit like every other team. I think.
So the training camp in Germany, that's what needs to be.
I think United have got their best 3. Chelsea a puzzle. Arsenal, we don't know yet, puzzle. Until you know your best 3. Like who plays, if there's a Champions League final tomorrow, who's your 3? And I think we're still questioning that. We don't know that. For me, it'll be Fabinho, McAllister and Szoboszlai, but I have no idea.
In a way, it's good, though, to have a little bit of jeopardy because everybody arrives in that training camp thinking, we don't know who it is. The manager doesn't know. I'm about to convince him that it's me.
Yeah, those pre-season games, everyone right now, you know when you're a bit naughty in pre-season, and these footballers will be naughty, let your hair down. I'm telling you now, all the midfielders at Liverpool, as soon as Szoboszlai and McAllister came through the door, Martini's down in the gym.
Yeah.
In the gym immediately.
Big season for Liverpool now. Missed out on the European Cup last year.
Massive season.
Confident? Best case scenario, what are we looking at?
League. Best case.
That can happen. Realistic best case, yeah?
League.
Okay.
You know why? Because
I believe you.
That team in the northeast, or northish, east-ish, potentially have lost Bernardo Silva and Gundogan. They're a bit of a...
Excellent football knowledge, terrible geographical knowledge. Northwest.
Northwest, sorry.
Don't
worry about it.
I thought you were talking about Newcastle. I was like, wow.
Oh, yeah. We might have to do a video on them as well.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I agree with you. I agree. Going to be a huge season. Mr. Oladipo, I've enjoyed this, mate.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
Yeah.
I'm very excited.
It really is. Thank you so much for everyone for watching this video. Do me a favour before you go. Ade Oladipo's link is in the description below. Please go and subscribe to his YouTube channel. Massively helps me out. Otherwise, I'll stop doing these videos.
That's not true. No, I won't.
Thank you so much for watching. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.